Hey everybody, I'm that girl Goddess. I want to talk today about jealousy, um, and that's what I'm going to talk about. Jealousy. Okay, when it comes to jealousy, some people always say, "Well, I don't have that much going for me. I'm not this pretty, or I'm not that smart. I was only about a C student," and they find a lot of reasons to try to downplay themselves and not seeing themselves as great in certain areas, good, positive. Sometimes, people, and this is something that I was told by an older woman when I was a child. I said, "Well, what they got to be jealous of me about?" She said, "They can be jealous that you have natural red hair." She told me they can be jealous because you have cat eyes that change colors. I was looking at her like, "What?" And she said, "People can be jealous of you because you have dimples, a double set. So you're pretty, that you make straight A's in school." And I was just looking at her strange, like, man, that is so weird. Why in the world would somebody, who cares? And she was like, they can be jealous because you don't hold things in, you let stuff go. She said they can be jealous of the fact that you keep moving or you leveling up, that you can admit where you're short and come higher. And I was like, as a child, when she was saying this, I was like, I don't understand stuff like this. And I kind of debated her. But it came out later on in life. I would go places and jobs, and I found out some things about jealous people. Jealous people investigate you. I mean, you, no matter what you tell them, they try to put it on a pretense like you're lying. And then when you come with those receipts, and you don't even have to have the receipts on purpose, then they be looking like, oh, I guess. They make those statements and sounds. And sometimes, and I remember one time God told me, this girl was talking to me and we was laughing. And then he said, look back. I went to walk away. He said, look back. And I looked back, she was looking me up and down. She didn't see it, but she was looking like lower, not directly in my face. And I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, God, why is she looking at you like that? And when he told me, he was like, be careful. The spirit of jealousy is out. And that did something to me. And he said, start looking at people. Use your gift of discernment. They may be saying this, but what do you feel in your gut when they saying, even if they compliment you, how do you feel? And I was like, okay. And he said, told me to pray for more discernment and different things. And I started paying more attention. And he was like, it doesn't matter. I was like, but this person is a school teacher. I'm a student. He said, but she can see how you comprehend things, how you can utilize the information, how you utilize understanding and wisdom and knowledge. And she don't have that ability. And I was like, wow. I said, you have adults jealous of children? God told me, said, yes. And that's why you train your children not to say anything. He said, because, I was looking at a little girl one day and she told this woman, she said, you got a booger in your nose. And the woman, from that point, I knew the woman, she hated that child. She said, well, she just be saying all kind of stuff. And I was like, wow, why would you say that? It's not that she's saying all kind of stuff. In her mind, she thought that she was telling you something you didn't know to help you. And I realized then I couldn't tell people everything. Okay? I couldn't tell people, you know, wipe your nose or something, even if we're not around nobody. And I realized for somebody to take to heart something a child said was ridiculous. Was ridiculous. And I felt some kind of way about stuff like that. I was like, man. But what God showed me was it's real. You make enemies even when you're a child, when you deal with jealous people. I remember one time I told somebody, because I had children extremely young, not due to what I did on purpose, but if you catch my hint, I had children. And I remember one day I turned around and said, yeah, but I ain't got no stretch marks. Yay! And this woman, she hadn't had no kids. She said, everybody gets stretch marks. And I was like, no, I really don't. And I held my shirt up. I'm doing laundry. I held my shirt up. And she was like, And I didn't pay no attention. And then we was talking one day and some other girl came around and she got pregnant. She said something about stretch marks. She said, I'm getting so I itch. I said, well, be careful. Start doing this and that, oiling your stomach down and different things. And I was telling her different things. And I said, try to stretch a little more, even your skin, to prevent its stretch marks. And she said, the lady just that knew I didn't have no stretch marks was like, yeah, because she don't have none. You know, some people is just born blessed. It's inedible that you may get stretch mark. And that's what she was telling the lady. And I'm looking at her, I was like, I didn't say that she wasn't going to get stretch marks. I said, I'm just trying to help her because she said her skin was itching. And usually that's a sign that your skin is stretching. And if you don't oil it down and start massaging your skin, you may get stretch marks. And I was like, and it's not the worst thing in the world. That's what I said. I said, but anywho, I just thank God I don't have stretch marks because for a woman to give birth, you usually get stretch marks. And for me to have as many children as I have, I don't have them. You know, and she was like, she still was negative about it, but the other girl was like, okay, thanks. I was looking for tips and stuff. And that's how that ended. But I started seeing it be little stuff. Every now and then, you know, one thing I learned about jealous people, they try to say stuff to humiliate you. They try to put thoughts in people's head that's negative about you. And I tell them the reason I'm making this video is so you can start watching out for signs of people being jealous. You be on a job site and they be like, well, you know, they always kind of late. And you look up and they try to create an image, or they'll do something like if they want you to do something on the job, they try to keep you from doing it, to try to make your production low. They'll call you across the room like, what are you doing? And you be like, what are you talking about? And you're not paying attention. And they be setting you up on all kind of ways. You can say the slightest thing. You can be making a joke, and when you get to work, they'll turn that joke around like it's something that they're trying to let the boss know or indicate about you. And I learned, you know, you have to be careful of the statements that people say. Jealousy is something that's within. You know, and even if your boss said something, or you need to improve in this area, and you start leveling up, you will have people turn around and say, oh, she just trying to impress the boss. I wouldn't do that. They don't appreciate it. And sometimes it's just like me. Sometimes I do things on the job. It's not because I'm looking for recognition. Sometimes I'm doing it to perfect my skills. And then whatever I do as a Christian, I do it unto the Lord. I want to give him my best. But sometimes you can't do that. Because I remember God told me one time, he was like, I understand, but not here. And I was like, God, you said to do unto him, everything you do it as you're doing it unto you. And he was like, it's not a good place, jealousy. they feel you trying to take their job. And I was like, oh, wow. And I was like, but this job is just a production line. I was like, how can you take their job? They just need bodies to sit here and do this. But I said, okay, good Lord, I'm listening. Later on, I heard so many comments like, oh, I guess she want to be the next line leader. Oh, when y'all come around, she get to doing this, this, and this. And I was quiet and I didn't say anything. I was like, what? I was like, y'all crazy. Ha, ha, ha. I just laughed it off. And I started seeing the jealousy. Then it's like, I made a video one time and I turned around and said, God told me to fix myself up. Now, I used to always get up in the morning. I'm a glam girl. I'm a girly girl. I'm ultra feminine. I would have my lashes on. I did it before lashes became a trend, okay? And when I was doing it at my job, the lady all of a sudden turned around and said, well, yeah, I need to wear a bonnet. Yeah, well, or a hairnet. And I was like, for what? We're cleaning the rooms and helping the patients, and she didn't like this one girl that had extremely long hair, and she kept picking, and you know. So I would wear the bonnet at work. I was like, I just keep the confusion going. I'm here to get a check. I ain't trying to, come against stuff. And then every day it was something. To the point I turned around, I said, it just seemed crazy. You're not even the boss, but you just own people riding cray, and you picking at every little thing. To the point it is, I wash dishes or something behind the clients, and she turn around and say something, well, you wash the dishes, but I like the stuff to be squeaky clean. I said, what? I said, these dishes are clean. And she said, yeah, but I just want you, when you do it, make sure you rub it to make sure it squeaks. I had to tell her, I said, miss, that is not a criteria of the job. But I was so mad that day, I took the dishes out the dish rack, and when I ran some more water, it was hot water. I wet the dishes and just started squeak. She said, I know. I said, no. What you're trying to do is be facetious and underrate somebody's position. But when I did this, I opened up my camera and recorded me taking the dishes out, putting it in the sink. I said, so you want them to squeak? Is that the requirement? And took it to HR. I was like, you doing too much for no reason. And I realized then, I was like, we was cool. She started working this position for her nieces, their family business. She found out I had credentials, and the next thing I know, she was, oh, I guess you want to run this place. Hell no, I don't do old people like that, because they do too much. Then she's going to look at me funny. But you have so many degrees and levels. I was like, yeah, because every year I leveled up to come higher in the type of field that I was in the medical field, till I got be that registered nurse. Now what? I started off as a CNA. PCT, PCA. I went to medical assistant school, and which is the new nurse. There, I worked at hospitals. Got some credentials to be an LPN at one point, and they told me I could only use it at that hospital. Okay, so I went to college, got that RN. Okay, and I had to tell her, I was like, look, I put in the time and the work. You can do what I did. And I ain't trying to do all that. Yeah, that's a personal choice. It's not, I said, I ain't gonna downplay myself because of your personal choice. Like that. I'm sorry. And she was disturbed. I said, I did that for me so I can have a career in life. Then I went to Cos and barber school, and then I completed for the education of it. And she was like, you just do so much, and I'm going to continue to upgrade me. I'm going to continue to press towards my goals and accomplish those things I want to accomplish. But she hated me just for that. That's why I be telling people, jealousy is real. You don't even have to be trying to show off. When I made this glove to wash a patient up, and she seen how I wrapped the towel on my hand, she was like, she getting fancy. That's how they teach you. And I said, well, no, I can show you how to do it. No, I'm okay. So, okay. I tried to give a little advice. She hated me. To the point people came out. But I just try to give them my best and bless people. But when you see people that say little snide remarks about you and try to say, she thinks she all that, recognize that it is the spirit of jealousy too. Competition. And some people don't want to come higher. They just don't want you to outshine them. I'm going to tell y'all, shine. Do what you do and let God bless you. Don't let people in your business. You can tell somebody trying to say something else like, yeah, my first husband, you know. And when I said my first husband, I said he was really good to me and everything. But now that that's over and I'm in this marriage, you know, I miss some of the things. This woman turned around and said, well, that's why you lost your first husband. I looked at her and I had to correct her. I said, I lost my first husband because he died of cancer. Not because I couldn't keep him. I got married again because God let me in see that I have a beautiful spirit. And I'll do that when the wife do this. I'll be about it. And if I'm with somebody, I'm 100% about them on God. Okay? I don't have a problem coming in cooking dinner. I don't have a problem having dinner ready before my spouse get there. Could get up early in the morning, cook breakfast. I don't have a problem doing and making sure his clothes is ironed and went to the dry cleaners. I don't care. Making his favorite meal. I don't mind massaging his feet, having his bath water run. I don't have problems with that. Being in service for people. That's what God told us to do. We are in service to one another. I be get to fasting and praying and trying to birth out my husband's dreams. That's who I am. I bought my second husband, a whole roofing company. Okay, surprised them with it. I'm built like that. I want somebody to press and want me to have my dreams as well. I'm not in competition because if my dreams excel, it's only making my spouse life better as well as mine. We're supposed to be in it to win it together. But you don't always have that. And that's why I tell people, even when you're dating, watch who you're dating. Watch their attitude. Watch when you excel in something. Okay? My spouse, you know, he was celebrating that I had finished the class and everything. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the graduation. I was so happy. Because do you know most of the time when I finished different programs and stuff, nobody celebrated me? He touched my heart. And you'll think that's strange. I mean, family. I mean, when I say I don't care how close they are to you. Mama, papa, daddy, uncle, cousin. When I said they weren't even working, could you come out and see me? When I was playing sports in schools and winning bronze and silver medals and stuff and breaking records, not one person came out. Not one. And I kept on pressing in. So I'm telling you, even when people don't celebrate you, I ain't talking about people who have a legitimate excuse not to come out, but I'm talking about those who don't. No, the spirit of jealousy is real. They couldn't even congratulate me. They was like, oh, okay, I see you. But it wouldn't say congratulations. They didn't say well done. They didn't say good. You know I've been making a series about jealousy, but there's some good jealousy out here too. And I'm going to talk about it because God's jealousy. Okay? But right now, I want to enlighten people about people that's jealous of you. Recognize they will try to humiliate you, control you, downgrade you, attack you, and they ain't gonna prosper behind it now. But that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna try to provoke you to get you out of character, to tear you down, To try to make you lose. They're going to spread rumors. They're going to be looking you up and down. They're going to be making snide remarks. Someone will be trying to play in your face and say good things and spread stuff everywhere and be like, give people looks. Okay? Try to discourage you. But don't let those things work. Keep leveling up, people. The spirit of jealousy is real. Bind it up. Pray about it. Let God guide you. And I'm going to say again, level up. Be all that you can be and be proud of you. It's not you that made them look at you like that. That's something within them that got them looking at you like that. Y'all be blessed. I'm Goddess, and I'm trying to level up. Bye. Like, subscribe, and share. Bye.